Thanksgiving morning arrived cold and bright. I cooked with unusual calm, each task methodical. The turkey, the stuffing, the pies. Marcus watched me nervously. "You don't have to do this," he said for the 10th time. "I do." Maya helped set the table, her cast finally removed last week. She was still quiet, still healing, but stronger than before. Guests arrived at 2. Uncle Kevin brought wine. Aunt Melissa brought stories. Cousin Brooke brought her new boyfriend, who had no idea what he was walking into. We sat, we ate, we laughed. For a moment it felt normal. Then, at exactly 3:30, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Erica standing on my porch. Behind her, my parents. "We're family," my mother said. "We should be together on Thanksgiving." "She has a restraining order," I said calmly. "We're petitioning to have it dropped," my father replied. "It was granted under false pretenses. Erica has every right to be here." Erica said nothing, just smiled at me. That same cold smile I'd seen all my life. "You can leave or I can call the police," I said. "Call them," Erica said quietly. "I'm not afraid of you anymore." Something in her voice made my skin crawl. She wasn't just confident. She was gleeful. "Fine." Pulled out my phone. "Officer Hayes. This is Amanda Chen. Someone is violating the restraining order at my address." Erica stepped closer, right to the threshold. Not inside, but close enough to make me uncomfortable. "You think you've won, don't you?" she whispered. "You think your little cameras and recordings make you safe. But you'll regret this. You'll regret embarrassing me, turning the family against me." "I didn't turn anyone against you. You did that yourself." She leaned in. "You always were the stupid one." Then she turned and walked away with our parents before the police arrived. I closed the door, my heart pounding. The entire exchange had lasted less than 2 minutes, but it felt like a lifetime. "Are you okay?" Marcus asked, appearing beside me. I nodded, but my hands were shaking. Checked my phone. The doorbell camera had recorded everything. Erica's threat, her admission that she knew about the cameras, all of it. We returned to dinner, but the mood had shifted. Everyone was quieter, more careful. Even the food tasted different now. 6. My mother called. "I can't believe you called the police on your own sister. She violated a restraining order. You're destroying this family, Amanda. Over jealousy. Over your need to always be the victim." I hung up without responding. Dinner continued. We served dessert. Maya seemed okay, staying close to Marcus. Brooke tried to keep conversation light, talking about her new job, her apartment renovations. Then, around 7, Maya went upstairs to use the bathroom. We heard the crash. I ran Marcus behind me. Maya stood in the upstairs hallway, staring at something on the floor. A framed photo, shattered. But that wasn't what had made the noise. Someone had been in my house. The window at the end of the hall was open. The screen was cut. And on Maya's bed, arranged carefully, were photos. Old photos from my childhood. Each one had Erica's face scratched out, replaced with words written in red marker. "Loser. Failure. Nothing." "She was inside," Maya whispered. "While we were eating. Aunt Erica was inside our house." Marcus called the police again. This time they took it seriously. Breaking and entering, violation of a restraining order, stalking. Detective Morrison arrived personally. "We need to get you somewhere safe tonight," she said. "Your sister is escalating." We packed bags, locked up the house, and went to a hotel. Maya cried herself to sleep between us. The next morning, Detective Morrison called. "We have something you need to hear." The police station was cold and sterile. Detective Morrison led us to a small conference room and closed the door. "We arrested your sister last night. She was at her apartment, watching security footage she'd somehow accessed from your house." "How is that possible?" "She hacked your home network weeks ago. She's been watching you. Planning." Morrison opened her laptop. "But here's where it gets interesting. When we arrested her, she started talking. Not confessing exactly, but justifying. We recorded everything. You press play. Erica's voice filled the room. Amanda always ruins everything. She took Thanksgiving from me. She turned our parents against me. She deserves everything that happened. Maya deserved it too. That little brat is just like her mother. Always in the way, always needing attention. The detective paused the recording. She goes on like this for 20 minutes. Talking about the push, about deleting the footage, about breaking into your house. All while thinking she's explaining why she's the victim. She confessed, Marcus said slowly. She confessed to everything. The original assault, the harassment, the breaking and entering. She also implicated herself in several other incidents we're now investigating, including an assault on Tyler Walsh 2 years ago. Relief flooded through me, so intense I felt dizzy. What happens now? Yes. She's being charged with multiple crimes. Assault of a minor, stalking, burglary, violation of a restraining order. Her lawyer is trying to get bail, but given the evidence, I doubt the judge will grant it. We left the station in a daze. For the first time in weeks I felt like I could breathe. That afternoon, the whole family gathered at Uncle Kevin's house. My parents sat silently in the corner while everyone else discussed what had happened. I can't believe we didn't see it, Aunt Melissa said quietly. All those years. Brooke touched her scarred arm where the gravy had burned her 3 years ago. I think part of me always knew. I just didn't want to believe it. My mother finally spoke. What happens to her now? She goes to trial, I said. And hopefully she gets help. You're still going to prosecute? My father asked. After everything she did. Maya deserves justice. Tyler deserves justice. Brooke deserves justice. My mother started crying. Not for me, I noticed. For Erica. Some things never change. The trial was scheduled for February. In the meantime, Erica remained in custody. Her bail denied after she made threats against me during her hearing. The family fractured completely. My parents hired an expensive lawyer for Erica, convinced she was mentally ill rather than malicious. Half the extended family sided with them. The other half finally saw the truth. Focused on Maya. Therapy sessions twice a week. Gentle conversations about what happened, about safety, about how some people are sick in ways that make them hurt others. Is Aunt Erica sick? Maya asked one night. In a way, yes. But that doesn't excuse what she did. Will she ever say sorry? Thought about that. About Erica's complete lack of remorse. Her conviction that she was the victim in all of this. I don't think so, baby. Some people can't admit when they're wrong. Tyler and I stayed in touch. He was called as a witness, and we met several times with the prosecutor to go over testimony. He seemed lighter now, like a weight had been lifted. I spent 2 years thinking I was crazy, he told me over coffee one afternoon. Thank you for believing me. Thank you for believing me first. In January I received a letter. Prison mail from Erica. I almost threw it away. Marcus said I should. But something made me open it. Inside, one sentence in Erica's perfect handwriting. You think you won, but you'll always be the jealous one. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just blame. I added it to the evidence file and never responded. The trial lasted 3 days. The prosecutor presented everything. The recordings, the deleted footage, Tyler's testimony, Maya's statement, the break-in, the confession. Erica's lawyer tried to argue mental illness, temporary insanity, family dysfunction. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Erica was sentenced to 3 years in prison, followed by 5 years of supervised probation and mandatory psychiatric treatment. As they led her away, she looked at me one last time. No tears. No remorse. Just cold calculation, already planning her next move. But I wasn't afraid anymore. 6 months after the trial, my life had found a new normal. Maya was back to her old self mostly. She still didn't like stairs much, but her nightmares had stopped. She'd made new friends at school and joined the art club. Marcus and I were closer than ever, bonded by the crisis we'd survived together. My relationship with my parents remained broken. They called occasionally, stiff conversations about weather and holidays. They never apologized. Never acknowledged that they'd chosen the wrong daughter to believe. But Uncle Kevin and Aunt Melissa had become like surrogate parents. Brooke and I grew close, bonded by our shared experience of Erica's cruelty. The story leaked online somehow. Someone from the courthouse, maybe, or a family member. Spread across social media, shared thousands of times. Woman exposes sister's decade of abuse after Thanksgiving attack on daughter. The comments were overwhelming. Thousands of people sharing their own stories of toxic family members, of being gaslit, of finally finding the courage to speak up. One comment stood out. "You helped me leave my abuser. I kept thinking I was crazy, that family should forgive everything. But reading your story showed me that protecting yourself isn't selfish. Thank you." I read it 3 times, tears streaming down my face. Tyler got a new job, moved to a different city for a fresh start. Before he left, he stopped by to say goodbye. "You saved my life," he said. "I mean that literally. I was in a dark place before all this." "You saved mine too," I replied honestly. I couldn't have done this alone. Erica's friends, the ones who'd believed her lies, slowly reached out with apologies. Some I accepted. Others I didn't. I was learning that forgiveness was mine to give or withhold, and that boundary setting wasn't cruelty. My parents sent a letter in August. They were selling their house, moving to Florida. Fresh start, they said. They hoped I understood. I understood perfectly. They were running from the truth. But I wasn't running anymore. September brought unexpected news. A letter from Erica, delivered through her lawyer. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. Inside, 3 pages handwritten. "Dear Amanda, I've been in therapy for 6 months now. Mandatory, but I've actually been participating. My therapist says I have narcissistic personality disorder with antisocial traits. Apparently I've been this way since childhood, but it got worse as I got older. I'm not writing to apologize. My therapist says apologies without changed behavior are meaningless, and I can't promise I've changed yet. I'm still working on understanding why I did what I did. But I am writing to tell you that you were right. About everything. Did push Maya. I did delete the footage. I did break into your house. I've spent my whole life manipulating people and justifying it to myself as deserved. Mom and Dad's favoritism made it easy. I learned early that I could do anything and be forgiven as long as I played the victim well enough. You were always the strong one, Amanda. Even when I tried to break you, you stayed whole. I hated you for that. I hated that you built a life without needing constant validation. I hated that your daughter loved you naturally, without you having to perform for it. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know that for the first time in my life, I'm seeing clearly. And what I see is ugly. I'm sorry for what I did to Maya. That's the one thing I can say with absolute certainty. She didn't deserve any of it. Erica. I read the letter 3 times. Marcus read it too. "What do you think?" he asked. "I think she's starting to understand. But understanding isn't the same as change." "Are you going to write back?" Thought about it. About the years of pain, the broken trust, the fear Maya had lived with. About Tyler's stolen career and Brooke's scars and all the other people Erica had hurt. No, I decided. She doesn't need my forgiveness to heal. That's her journey, not mine. I filed the letter away and moved on. In October, I did something I'd been thinking about for months. I started a blog. Not about Erica specifically, but about family trauma, gaslighting, and the courage it takes to set boundaries. I wrote about my experience anonymously at first, just processing everything that had happened. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Hundreds of comments from people who'd lived through similar situations. Abusive siblings. Enabling parents. Family members who used love as a weapon. I thought I was alone. You gave me the strength to file a restraining order. I finally understand that protecting myself doesn't make me a bad person. I shared resources. Therapists who specialized in family trauma, legal advice for restraining orders, support groups. The blog grew from a personal journal to a community. One woman reached out privately. Her name was Sophie, and her story was eerily similar to mine. Her brother had been abusing her for years, and their parents always took his side. "Reading your story gave me permission to finally leave," she wrote. "I'm safe now. Thank you." That message meant more to me than any guilty verdict. Maya read some of my posts, the age-appropriate ones, and asked questions. We talked about what happened, about how people can love you and hurt you at the same time, about how choosing yourself isn't selfish. "I'm proud of you, Mom," she said one night before bed. Those 5 words healed something in me I didn't know was broken. Thanksgiving 2025 approached. This time I didn't feel dread. We celebrated quietly at home with Uncle Kevin's family and Brooke. No drama. No fear. Just peace. I thought about Erica, somewhere in a prison therapy session, hopefully learning to be better. I didn't hate her anymore. I didn't love her either. I just felt free. Christmas brought more changes. My parents sent a card from Florida. No phone call, no real message. Just a generic card with their names signed at the bottom. I didn't send one back. In January, I received an email from a publisher. They'd found my blog and wanted to know if I'd be interested in writing a book. A memoir about family trauma, recovery, and justice. I thought about it for weeks. Did I want to relive everything in that much detail? Did I want my story out there permanently? Then I thought about Sophie, about Tyler, about all the people who'd messaged me saying my words had helped them. I signed the contract. Writing the book was harder than I expected. Reliving every moment, every betrayal. But it was also cathartic. Each chapter one finished felt like closing a door on that part of my life. Maya was 11 now, thriving. She'd started writing poetry about her experiences, processing her trauma through creativity. Her therapist said she was remarkably resilient. In March, I got news about Erica. She'd been moved to a psychiatric facility within the prison, getting intensive treatment. Her lawyer sent updates occasionally, though I'd never requested them. "She's making progress," one email said. She started taking responsibility for her actions in group therapy. I felt nothing reading it. Not satisfaction, not anger. Just nothing. She was no longer part of my emotional landscape. Tyler visited in April. He looked good, healthy, happy. He'd met someone, was building a new life. "I never thanked you properly," he said, "for believing me when no one else did. You did the same for me." We kept in touch after that, occasional texts and holiday cards. Not friends exactly, but allies. People who understood. In June, the book was finished. My editor loved it. Publication was scheduled for October. And then, in August, something unexpected happened. My mother called. "Amanda," she said, her voice small. "I need to talk to you." We met at a coffee shop halfway between her new Florida home and mine. I debated whether to go, whether it was worth reopening old wounds. But something in her voice had been different, broken. She looked older, grayer, smaller somehow. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. I waited. "Your father and I have been going to therapy. Together and separately. Trauma specialist." She made us watch the videos. All of them. The one from Brooke's Thanksgiving. The recordings from Erica's laptop. Everything. She paused, hands wrapped around her coffee cup. "I spent your entire childhood enabling abuse. Making excuses for Erica while dismissing you. And I didn't even see it. I thought I was keeping the peace, protecting my family. But I was just protecting my favorite." Tears ran down her face. Real tears. Not the performative kind she'd used to manipulate me before. "I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I needed you to know that I see it now. I see what I did to you. What I allowed to happen to Maya." She looked up at me. "I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm so sorry." I sat with her words. Part of me wanted to reject them, to hold on to my anger. It was safer there. But another part of me, the part that had been that little girl desperate for her mother's love, wanted to believe in second chances. "I need time," I finally said. I need to see that you mean it. That this isn't just words. She nodded. I understand. We'll wait. However long it takes. We talked for another hour. About therapy, about Erica's progress, about my book. She asked about Maya, really asked, not just polite inquiries. When we left, she hugged me. For the first time in years, it felt real. I didn't know if our relationship would heal completely. Maybe it wouldn't. But for the first time, I felt hope. The book published in October to unexpected success. It hit bestseller lists, got featured on morning shows, sparked conversations about family abuse and the courage to speak up. But more importantly, it helped people. The messages flooded in by the thousands. People finding strength to leave toxic situations, to set boundaries, to choose themselves. One night in November, Maya and I sat on the couch, her head on my shoulder. Mom, do you think Aunt Erica will ever really change? I thought about the question carefully. I think people can change if they want to badly enough. But wanting to change is different from actually doing the work. Only time will tell with Erica. Do you forgive her? I'm working on it. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or allowing her back into our lives. It means letting go of the anger so it doesn't poison us. Maya nodded, satisfied with that answer. Thanksgiving 2026 approached. This time I felt only peace. We'd host again the people who mattered most. No drama, no fear. Just a family we'd chosen, built from honesty and love. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. My hands froze. Then I read it. Hi Amanda, this is Sophie. The woman you helped last year. I'm hosting Thanksgiving for the first time since leaving my family. Your story gave me the courage. Thank you for showing me it's possible to build something new. Happy Thanksgiving. I smiled, typed back a response, and set down my phone. Some chapters close. Others open. And sometimes the best revenge is simply building a beautiful life. I thought I'd close the chapter on Thanksgiving. But as I looked around at my daughter, my husband, the family we'd built from truth and courage, I realized something. This wasn't an ending. It was a beginning.